Great game. We've all played it. If you're a fan of my main channel, I'm sure you've at least heard of it. But did you know before it was a game everyone played, it was a book that nobody read? That's right. The Disco Elysium lore was fleshed out in a book by the author who world built this extremely, intricate, detailed, lore-filled world. And no one read that shit. And, it was written in Icelandic, so I maybe that was why no one read that shit. It's not like it was a huge market. But I would like to posit that even if he had written that shit in English, no one would have cared. This is a very important lesson to learn because he eventually took that setting and made it a video game. And that change, even though it was the same setting, was what was needed to get people interested in the setting. That world was never going to succeed just as text, just as literature. It had to be a video game. And that guy figured that out. And even though you're spending, years and years building out, crafting out this world, probably expecting to turn it into a book, or this has to be a film that I spend $30,000 on. It has to be a 2-hour-long feature-length film. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're right, and maybe it should be a book or it should be a film. But especially if you've already tried those things and no one bought your book or no one wants to watch your film, that doesn't mean that the setting is a waste of time. It doesn't mean that you made a bad setting. There's a few things you can do as a world builder, let's say, when you reach that block. You can say, okay, my world was bad. I need to build a new world and try the same thing over and over again. Maybe write another book with a different world. Maybe your world is actually bad, but the chances are your setting is fine. If you like your setting, if you think it's a cool setting, totally fine. You're schizoid. You're spending a lot of time alone, just world building, crafting this whole elaborate narrative and all these different features of your world. And it's the fact that you haven't fleshed out year 2000 to 2500 of your 10,000 year fantasy world probably isn't the reason it's not catching on. Okay, adding another race isn't going to make it catch on. You got to think on a much higher level of what you're doing with your marketing. And it could be that you need to take that fantasy setting and apply it differently. You could make it a text-based adventure game. That's something people play a lot. You could even make it like a 5-minute YouTube video explaining all the races of Nefaria or whatever, That's the kind of thing that might catch on. You can make a piece of visual art, post it on Reddit, get 8,000 upvotes of some strange scaly creature and a little text dump of all the information about that race of scaly creatures in your setting. Those are all things that get people interested in the game, and you're meeting people more where they're at. I mean, people read books, sure, but a lot more people play video games. A lot more people watch YouTube. And so it is worth considering, hey, given the current time I exist in, 2025, is this the right medium for exploring these ideas or inhabiting or showing off this setting that I've created? And maybe it's a book, but also you want to consider maybe it's a video game. In the case of Disco Elysium, it was a video game. And that's a very important lesson. I feel like it's something we get so married to the idea that it has to be of the medium I am imagining. But those ideas can exist in all kinds of different mediums. And I just want to make this point, because it is a very important point for artists to remember, is learning different mediums is almost one of the most important things you can do as an artist. Yeah, you want to be expert level. If you're expert level on video game design, or you're expert level in literature, or you're expert level in visual art, those are all very important tools to have. But if you can just become medium level at coding or something, and you code a video game, or medium level at drawing, or medium level at visual art, and then you're an expert in something else, you're an expert world builder, then you can use that expert world building and package it in a way where people are actually going to consume it, get interested in it, and support the project. And that's ultimately what you're looking for, right? And now that Disco Elysium is super popular, the guy could go and he could write that book that he wanted to write originally. He could write a sequel to that book, and plenty of people would buy it. He would be a smash hit now because people are interested in it. Actually, he can't do that because they stole the IP. I think the publisher stole the IP. We're going to ignore that part of the story, right? That was some bullshit. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So yeah, I want you to, if you got a big project you're working on, an idea you're very invested in, and especially if you've already tried a few different mediums and you haven't seen success in that, I would say it doesn't necessarily mean your idea is bad. It doesn't necessarily mean the themes you're exploring are the wrong ones. It doesn't necessarily mean that the world you created is a bad one. What it might mean, though, is you need to try a different medium. Try a different medium. Try taking a part of that story or that world and making it a YouTube video. You know, I know that sounds gross to think about, but try putting it in an accessible format and see if it takes off. There are all kinds of people who have created beautiful, rich worlds, and those worlds don't go anywhere. And there's all kinds of people that have had their worlds go somewhere. Their settings have become very popular and successful because they knew the medium that it needed to exist in, and they committed to making it in that medium. And they've tried other mediums, and those other mediums didn't work. Hey, it didn't work as a YouTube video. It didn't work as a major length feature publication, but maybe it worked as a short film that you spent $1,000 on, right? So these ideas can exist in various different mediums. That's why it's really important to know different mediums. And hey, look, I'm not telling you to, if you have no interest in visual art, don't get into visual art, fine. But like, pursue what you are interested in, and more importantly, develop artistic community. Yeah? Because you don't have to be S-tier level at visual art. If you are a really good world builder and you know a visual artist that is drawing like a comic and they have shitty world design, it doesn't make any sense, you can help them with the world design. Hey, they can draw you some shit for your world, and you can try using that to get people interested in your world. These are the kinds of artistic connections that are so important, because if you're expert level in something and you meet someone who's expert level in something, you guys can work together and collab and make something nobody else could do, because no one has the time to get expert level in like 4 different mediums, right? If you make a group of 4 people who are all expert level in different mediums, not only are you going to have a more, rich, fulfilling life and artistic experience, you're also going to make better stuff because you can combine your skills in ways that no one else can. So that's something to keep in mind. And now a word from our sponsor. Sorry. I bet as an artist, you got a lot of big ideas floating